Good evening. People facing huge bills to replace flammable cladding on their flats have criticised a new fire safety law which came into force today. The new law is aimed at making homes safer following the Grenfell Tower fire in which 72 people died. But campaigners argue it does nothing to help current leaseholders whose homes have dangerous cladding and are having to bear the huge cost of removing it from properties. The government has set up a £5 billion fund to help pay towards the costs, but only for the tallest buildings. Others are now being offered loans. Our business correspondent Sarah Corker reports.
Who should pay to fix Britain's dangerous buildings? From London to Leeds, Merseyside to Manchester, hundreds of thousands of leaseholders are living in flats wrapped in flammable materials. After Grenfell, they never thought they'd have to foot the bill.
We're determined that no leaseholder should have to pay for the unaffordable costs of fixing safety defects that they didn't cause under no fault of their own.
I have spent days and weeks crying about it.
Leaseholders were hoping the fire safety bill would protect them from costs, but it hasn't, and now it's law. Rachel and her partner in Manchester fear they'll face life-changing bills.
Declaring bankruptcy at this age, what does that do to us for our future? It decimates it. So, yeah, it's terrifying.
And these are real discussions about bankruptcy that you're having now.
Yes. Yeah, obviously it's not the wisest thing to do, but we have.
The fire safety bill strengthens regulations following the Grenfell Tower fire. The legislation clarifies that building owners must manage and reduce the fire risk.
The fire safety bill, which has received royal assent, will actually help to save lives by changing some of these awful regulations and guidelines that existed previously. There are thousands of buildings around the country that are being supported through government funds and government finances right now.
This is the scale of the problem. There were over 2,500 applications for money from the government's Building Safety Fund. The vast majority have been rejected. Just 469 are part of the fund, including 180 private sector blocks where work has started or been completed.
Minister.
And that's why this week, peers in the Lords and some Conservative backbench MPs tried 5 times to make changes to the bill to protect flat owners from financial ruin. Those attempts failed and the bill became law today.
It's shameful what the government's done. I'm shocked, I'm astonished, and you can tell I'm upset about it. We've fought, we've done everything we possibly can.
The government has allocated £5 billion for the removal of dangerous cladding on the highest risk blocks, and there are also plans for a low-interest loan scheme for smaller buildings. But ministers have also repeatedly said that building owners have a responsibility to make sure their buildings are safe.
Millions of people across this country are affected by this. You are ruining people's lives. We don't have the funds to fix this problem that was not of our making.
But this isn't just a problem about cladding. There is currently no funding to cover the costs of fixing other types of fire safety faults. And across Britain, flat owners are facing tough choices about their futures.
Sarah, a lot of anger, a lot of upset about this. Who is taking responsibility?
Sophie, there is growing pressure on the construction industry and building owners to step up and take responsibility for their role in all of this. Now, some home builders have set aside money for the removal of dangerous cladding, but other developers are hard to trace and in some cases have gone bust. Now, some builders say they were following the regulations in place at the time when they built these developments, and the government has said it plans to introduce a levy on future developments for developers going forward on these high-rise blocks, and that could raise £2 billion over the next decade. But of course it will take some time to build up that pot of money, and cladding campaigners say they can't afford any more delays. They say this just doesn't go far enough given the scale of this issue.
Sarah Corker, thank you.